Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming back and joining me again to continue our series on coping skills. So far we have covered the first two coping skill categories, which are relax and distract. And so our third category that we're going to talk about today is sensory. And basically, that just means tapping into our five senses um, to help us cope with whatever that emotion is that we're feeling. And so this could be things that we are touching, smelling, tasting, hearing, seeing. And so I'm going to talk you through kind of a few of these that you may find helpful. So in this category would be things like using a weighted blanket. If you're familiar with weighted blankets, they are becoming very popular. And they are just that. It's a blanket with weights inside of it. And some people really like the feel of that weight on top of them as a sensory type of tool. Other people really respond to certain textures, just as sometimes we don't like certain textures. Often there are textures that we find very soothing, right? This is one of the reasons that younger kids and babies have blankets, right? That they like to feel and become attached to. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but the sensory piece is one part of that. So finding things with certain textures, if you're a tactile person, or if you're working with kids that are tactile, or using sensory tools like a stress ball, right? Um, or a little tool with a marble inside that can be moved around. These would be sensory tools as well. Sometimes having just lowering the lighting in a room can be very calming to some of us, right? Especially if you're in a classroom with a lot of fluorescent lights. It kind of became a joke when I was in a school that every time one of the fluorescent lights in my office went out, I would beg our maintenance staff to not replace it. I didn't want all of those fluorescent lights. I felt like I worked better and I was calmer with lower lighting levels in my office. And so I never wanted those to be replaced. Turning on lamps instead of those fluorescent lights, right? That's why some of us really like around the holidays. I love to sit in my living room with the Christmas tree lights on at night. I find it very soothing. Other people that respond to smells, maybe using an essential oil diffuser, right? And having some of those essential oils diffused into the room that we find calming. Listening to music. Again, I think this one has made every list so far, right? Or soothing sounds. This is why white noise machines and sound machines are so popular. For some of us, sometimes we need to have a snack, right? We need that, and there's a fine line with this one, but sometimes having kind of that sensory piece, enjoying, a small piece of like really dark chocolate for me can be very calming and can be a sensory experience. Schools now, a lot of schools are using sensory paths, which is usually a series of like sticky decals that can be stuck to the wall or the floor and lead kids through a series of things that they have to do movement wise and sensory wise. And so a sensory path is a great way to kind of to help us cope also, especially in a school for younger kids. This is a great tool. Visual timers are really great. I have one that sort of reminds me of a lava lamp, has dye in it. And so when you flip it, you can kind of watch the dye kind of fall. My kids always say, it's so satisfying, Mom. And so that's something that speaks to them visually, tapping into that sense. So just thinking through any really strategy that is going to tap into one of your five senses, which is such a huge array of strategies, right, would fall into the sensory category. So, um, think about maybe something that is soothing to you in a sensory way. And usually these strategies, this category is used as kind of a soothing category. I've said that word probably 5 times already in this video. Um, Whereas in distract, we talked about how we want to get our mind off of the anxiety, or whatever the emotion was. The sensory category is often used to help kind of soothe us and calm our bodies. So hopefully you've been finding these videos helpful. We have 2 more categories that we're going to work through. So I hope that you will join me back here next time to work through those last 2 categories. Until next time, have a great day.